Big thanks to Cardmarket for sponsoring today's video. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, we are going to be looking over Bello Betty in OP-13. You see, Bello Betty has been on the back burner for an entire set, being the best deck in format in OP-11, and now in OP-12 being absolutely garbage. But in OP-13, she gets not only an additional tool in Lilith, but also an incredible matchup spread into the meta, having favorable matchups into Emu and Ace and Roger and a bunch of other decks that Betty is just generally favored into. The deck that is she does struggle with is Sorrow, but in PRBO2 you do get an answer to that in Boa Hancock that stuns your opponent's leader, and because Lilith can search cards with triggers, Boa becomes an actual monster. So we have answers to our bad matchups, and our good matchups are obviously good matchups. So today I was going to bring that into some OP-13 games and show you guys how the deck works in OP-13 and why it is so incredibly strong. So this here is the deck list we're working with. We have 4 of Betty, 4 of... it's pretty standard, right? The only thing that's not standard is the fact that we do run a bit heavy on triggers because Lilith is a trigger searcher and it's only a top 4 searcher. So you're going to want to run a little bit heavy on triggers. What we're looking at is 4 Kuma, 4 Morley, 4 Trigger, 4 Lindbergh, as well as 4 Karasu, 4 Kuma 2K instead of Sabo promo because we need that trigger to be searchable. 1 copy of Boa and 4 copies of Sabo, leaving us, I believe, 25 total searchable triggers. Different thing here is I'm not running 5-cost Ivankov anymore. That's because with Lilith, 5-cost Ivankov actually becomes a little bit scary to use, and Koala just becomes the better option as a spammer, especially in this meta where a lot of decks try to starve you. And especially because we're also not running 5-cost promo Sabo anymore, this is our only anti-starve option. So yes, this looks a little bit low on spammers, but because we have such a strong early game with both Lilith and Betty here, you will be perfectly fine. You will struggle to cut down on cards otherwise, because you don't want to cut down on triggers because you want Lilith consistency, but you don't want to cut down on any of the cards without trigger, besides the spammers, which you don't really want to cut down either, right? But the other cards are just too good, like Koala, and there's an actual new argument that Koala gets cut for the Usopp, Egghead Usopp, because this is a 1-drop that is also a 2K and has a trigger, right? Even if the trigger doesn't do anything, there's still a very strong card being a 2K with trigger. So that is what I would say is the one thing you could change, but cutting Koala feels like it makes absolutely no sense. It's one of the best cards in the deck, right? So this is the deck I'm running with today. Definitely not a definitive list for OP-13 yet, as more playtesting actually needs to be done before I make any calls like that. But let's jump into some actual games. All right, we're going to go up against the Roger here. Roger is really nice because they basically don't play anything for the first couple turns. We have a double searcher start, so that's pretty nice. We just need to find an Ivankov off of our Betty here, or off the tops. Let's go here. That's not an Ivankov, but it is a Koala for our 6th on turn. I do believe that's something I should be grabbing here. And then we already have a Lindbergh, so I guess I'll grab a Kuma. We'll pass there. I think the counter there is more important than anything, but we're going to take this hit. I'm going to use that trigger. Now we just don't necessarily need the Ivankov, at least. Would have liked a Karasu of some sort, but we are just going to pitch our Sabo here. And then our swings are going to come in here. Him having the buggy there is also annoying, right? Because he does swing big here. But I do believe playing the Lindbergh is better. He takes anyways. Okay, he might be really bricked here. Which is something that happens when you play Roger. It's definitely a deck that can brick pretty hard. I will defend this swing, I think. Okay, he does have an Inarashi. That is a little bit annoying. But I still think I defend this, unless he puts 2 Dawn on things. I think if it's just 2K, I think I defend it. It's not. Okay, then we're gonna have to let that go. But this is all still fine. We can just do this. Oh my god, we hit the Ivankov. That's nasty. We'll pitch here. We can wipe him here. I'm thinking if I play down the Kuma instead of one of the bodies, simply because that means we can get an additional swing on his face this turn. But I guess it's just a 5k, so I guess I'll just give him the 5k swing here. And then we'll cheat out an actual body instead. Swing 8, he's gonna take. He's completely wiped now, and yes, he will, as long as he ramps once here, he will be a 7k leader. But if we can find a Karasu, then boom, all of a sudden he's a 6k leader. So I think we're good to go. If I hadn't played my koala here, I mean, I guess we're going for it either way, right? So I might as well do something like this. Even though that might look a little stupid. We're gonna find another koala. I don't think that's ever gonna be played. I think we're going for it here. So let's start with a 9. Yeah, I figured that much, but he only has 1 Dawn active, so he's gonna struggle to counter out of this shit. He has a lot of cards, but I mean, Roger is just a generally bricky deck, right? The 3k event. I'm gonna go for another 9. He does have the counter here. I mean, I guess we'll go for a... It's 10? Okay, so we can do like 7, 9 here. Or we can just keep the koala standing. That way we don't lose. And we can cheat out the koala, Kuma. Ooh, wait. Do we lose? We lose to a Roger then. Then cost Roger. Let's do a 7. Yeah, and then we'll cheat this out. We'll just keep koala standing because like if we hit him down to 0, then we lose to Roger. This way we should be fine. Rayleigh, last time I checked, rests a 5 or less, so he shouldn't be able to rest my koala here. So we should just take... Oh, wait, we can't take this. Then we lose to Roger. Oh my god, that was a close call. Okay. Let's see if we can do this now. We'll boost. These are 7s, so let's do a 9. He has no active Dawn, so we should be in lethal here. Yeah, we are. Nice. Okay, that's sweet. I think he has the Roger, right? Okay, he doesn't have the Roger, so there was nothing to play around there like I thought. But we did it nonetheless. Okay, here's an Emu. We're gonna go second. We're gonna keep this hand. One thing you have to keep in mind when going against Emu is that he has this 3-cost Celestial Dragon that pops 2 3-cost or less. So you have to be really mindful of that when playing, right? See, he's trashing the Sharia, makes sense. We'll play our Searcher. No Ivankov is really fucking annoying. I guess I'll just grab a Koala. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Really, the entire hand was reliant on me finding Koala. We'll take that hit. That's not live yet. A little bit unfortunate. What the fuck? What is this tech? I don't give a shit, but what the fuck? I mean, sure. I mean, I'm just gonna let that sit and never have 6 or more cards in my hand. And we top deck the Ivankov. Okay, that's nice. So we will do this. We will wait with cheating out the Lindbergh. Because we will never... we don't want him to block here. We want him to... Yes, perfect. All right. We'll bring out the Lindbergh, and he's gonna regret now that he didn't block. Oh, wait, that's not even a blocker yet. What the fuck am I doing? Whatever, we are so fine here. He can't play Mars yet, so he can't KO our Ivankov in any way. If he had played the other stage, then he could have Marsed here. But since he didn't, we should be in a pretty good spot here. This Shirahoshi was really cringe, but we're fine. These are still not blockers, but I mean, I will still deal with them. Um, he doesn't have 7 or more cards in trash either, so I can actually deal with that too. So let's do that. Let's boost with the Karasu blocker. Cheat out another Koala, which is the wrong card. I wanted to play Kuma. That's a really bad. But it's fine. Let's start with a 7, because we know we don't have to be scared of triggers in this deck, because we know the deck doesn't run a single trigger, and they're not allowed to. Yeah, so that was pretty bad. This should have been a Kuma, and I would have gotten rid of this Vivi as well. However, as long as, I mean, we have another Kuma, right? And we have a Lindbergh. So this shouldn't do too much of a difference anyways. But yeah, not having any good targets off of the Ivankov is really bad here. Like, having to play a Kuma off the Ivankov, it's not great. I mean, we could have played down the Karasu blocker, but realistically, what would that change? He is really low in hand. He has 2 blockers now. We have 4 swings. Okay, I think he's not going to 10. I think playing Koala here is fine. And then we'll boost. And then now the pressure that we're putting on here is disgusting. Actually, let's go for 6s. We know this deck doesn't run that many 2Ks. Yeah, he takes. He's in a bad spot. He does a search, doesn't find a 2K again. Okay, he does have a 2K. Does he have another one though? He doesn't. Okay, he gives up. He could have lived that turn, but even then he still doesn't have any outs, right? He can't kill me. Like, even with the Venus, that's a rusher for 3. He can no, like, wait, what would he even able to swing? Yeah, he wouldn't have enough, right? He would need 4 swings. I don't think it would have been enough, even with this and Venus, because he could technically have put whatever. We win those. GG's. All right, going up against Ace here. We're gonna go second. We're gonna mulligan that hand, and then we start double searcher, of course. We are just the goats. This actually hand is insane. The one thing I would say is I want this Koala to be a 4-cost Ivankov. Other than that, this hand is perfect. We go double searcher, and then we go Ivankov Karasu, and then we go Koala Ivankov Karasu, hopefully, or something like that. Something weird like that, you know? Nothing special. He's gonna have a fucking Kotama. That's annoying as shit. We're gonna not hit the Ivankov here. I think we'll go for the rusher. And we'll play this, and there's the Ivankov. Fucking perfect when I can't grab it. So if I had sequenced that differently, I would have had an Ivankov, but you know, couldn't possibly have known. That it was. I had to sequence like that, right? That's just a gamble. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, next turn is gonna be a little bit shitty, actually. He's gonna play another Otama. I mean, this is fine, right? He's just going down in 2Ks. I mean, sure, I'm sure he's finding 2Ks, right? Like, I'm sure it's worth playing, but total 2Ks in your deck, you're technically going down in. You can trash a Rad Beam as well. He's gonna go 7. He's gonna regret that. Oh, fuck me, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean we don't trigger? I'm thinking this is just Karasu. And then the question becomes, do I boost or not? And I think I do. I think it depends if he takes this or not. I think if he doesn't take, I think if he counters, I don't boost. But if he takes it, I boost. Let's see. This will be interesting. He does take, so we're gonna boost. Because these are 0 power, like if these were 2K power, I would not boost here. But since they are 0, he's kind of struggling into swinging into my double searcher here. I'm gonna use leader effect there, pitching a Cavendish. There's another swing coming though. All right, he counters. So we got some cards out of his hand, which is nice. Next turn we do have the Koala. If he only gets rid of one of these, we actually have a really good Koala in a Suma turn next turn. He is gonna perfectly play Koala. Sorry, Marco on curve. You should slap the Dawn on your leader, I hope. Okay, he doesn't slap it on his leader, so I'm gonna punish that by going really hard on him this turn. Or at least not bad. He's a brick. Let's fucking pitch him. And we'll go here. Oh, this is actually really funny. If he uses leader effect here, this goes down below 7, which means Inazuma doesn't have rush. Hopefully he doesn't see that line and just takes this damn hit or like blocks it. Yeah, so the Inazuma here is unnecessarily aggressive. Considering that is a line. But it's a hard line to see, to be fair. Is it minus 2000 during the... Oh, it's just minus 2000 during the battle. Okay, never mind then. Then Inazuma will always have rush here, so that is not a line. Inazuma will lose rush temporarily during the during the attack. But other than that, it's nada. See if he counters here. If I can bring him down to 1 here, I'll be pretty happy. I'm gonna take a free block. That makes me think I'm gonna be able to bring him down to 1. Because I doubt he'd counter the 7 now. Should just take this Dawn on leader or no Dawn on leader. Shouldn't matter, he should still take. Yep. Then we'll pass. We do have another Inazuma for next turn. We also have the potential to go really wide next turn. It's gonna be a Yamato just to draw 2 cards and slap a Dawn on leader. That doesn't feel like a very optimal play for your 7 Dawn turn. So he's probably in a pretty bad spot when it comes to his hand here. Something we do have to watch out for is the 10 cost Whitebeard that makes you have to trash 2 cards. As we basically have 3 swings in our hand, right? It's not great, you know. Pushing for lethal against Ace is really fucking awkward because he draws so many cards. It's gonna be an 8 into Karasu. I could counter, but I think I'd rather block and counter. Probably pitching the Kuma here. I'm kind of forced. I want to bait him into a 7 swing with the Marco here. Which in case that would, if I double 2k out of this, then the 7k here would be deadly because I wouldn't be able to counter out properly because I wouldn't have any 2ks left. This way I can do, he does 7, I can steal 2k, 1k, which is the same amount of cards out of hand realistically, right? I think so at least, yeah. Okay, another koala here is really good, but I think what we're gonna do is just push hard here. Having no Ivankov all of this game is fucking annoying. But let's go for this route. This might be another rad. But he's used 1 and pitched 1 already. Does he really have a 3rd? We're just gonna get as many cards out of his hand as we can, and then maybe we'll play down like Koala. He's gonna use leader effect and a 2k. I'm just gonna hit him with a 5, I think. If we can make him take a free block with Marco instead of drawing a bunch of cards with it, I think we're happy. 7. Yeah, okay. Well, we couldn't prevent him from drawing cards there, apparently. However, question really becomes if I do play Koala this turn. And I think I will. Especially now that he gave up on that, that means he doesn't really have any good, like, swingers for next turn. I mean, I guess there's an argument to play the Lilith as well, but I think 7 here is pretty nasty. Oh my god, he's out of 2Ks. Okay, there's actually an argument for an Inazuma line now. Because this Dawn is clearly a fake, otherwise he would have used that there. The line now is 6-7, which I think should win me the game. Because he seems to just be that bricked, right? Yeah, okay. That was some really nice hand reading there. He did get a 2k out of life, so that was worryingly close. But because of the hand read of him doing the triple 1k for the 7k swing, we were able to establish that he didn't have the counter in hand and push that way instead. I think the other line would have just been Koala, right? Into probably nothing, actually, with how shitty this draw was. No, I guess I would still go into Inazuma because I get to draw a card if I do. Um, which we probably we do live on the clapback here. We would definitely do. Because he only has this, he doesn't have a rusher. The problem would be that he plays this, and then I can't really swing with anything. But I think that's still enough to live. I don't, yeah, because he was too bricked, man. We'll take it. GG's. Alright, that is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe as well if you want to see more content like this. I think Betty is in a really good spot in 13. Like, you just saw me beat the shit out of the 3 best decks in the game. I would say that, like, Green Sora is obviously one of the better decks in OP-13 as well. But we do have text for that, so just maybe put in like 2 copies of Boa. I only played 1 today. I didn't go up against any Green Soros. I didn't get to show it off. But like, I think because it's searchable, you might not need more than 1. But you're doing 2 makes sense as well, right? It's a good card. So that's kind of where we're at in the meta. I think Belabet is in a great spot. So looking forward to OP-13 so I can get back on the Betty train. And yeah, other than that, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace.